Picture this. It's 1944, the middle of World War II, and a German submarine commander thinks he's about to have another successful night hunt in Allied ships. But in less than 2 hours, he'll find himself in the last proper hand-to-hand combat. Between naval vessels in modern history, we're talking actual boarding action, fists flying, coffee cups as weapons, and grenades being lobbed like it's the bloody 17th century. Sound mental? Well, it actually happened, and I promise you, this is one of the most insane naval battles you've never heard of. Buckle up, because this story's got everything. Right, so it's the 5th of March, 1944. Captain Gerhard Seehausen is commanding the U-66, a German submarine that's been absolutely devastating Allied shipping. This isn't just any U-boat, mind you. This thing has been part of 4 different Wolfpack operations, claimed 36 kills, and sent over 200,000 tons of ships and cargo straight to the bottom of the Atlantic. Seehausen's only 26 years old, but he's already a proper veteran, and on this particular night, he's just scored his 4th kill of the patrol. A cargo ship erupts in flames, lighting up the dark ocean like a bonfire. Another successful hit, the crew's probably buzzing with adrenaline, thinking they're unstoppable. But here's where things start going. After months at sea, the U-66 is running low on everything. Fuel, torpedoes, food, you name it. So they surfaced at an agreed meeting point west of Africa, waiting for a supply submarine to show up and sort them out. Seehausen's standing at the conning tower, getting more impatient by the minute. Anything yet? Nothing, sir. No sign of them. They're late. And this is a massive problem. Yeah, because the U-66 is now completely exposed on the surface, low on fuel and ammunition, in waters that are absolutely swarming with American patrols. They're sailing in circles, waiting for supplies that should have been there hours ago. But the supply sub is nowhere to be seen. Now, hundreds of miles away, on an American destroyer escort called the Buckley, Lieutenant Commander Brent Abel receives a transmission. Intelligence has reported a U-boat attack in their area, and his task group is ordered to sweep the region and find it. Abel replies immediately. Copy that. Full steam ahead. Let's go hunting. His ship is part of a dedicated U-boat hunting party, and they've just been given a proper target. The lads are probably buzzing because after weeks at sea doing patrol routes, they've finally got something to chase. Back on the U-66, the lookouts are still desperately scanning the horizon for their supply sub, and then one of them hears something, a faint droning sound getting louder. He looks up, and his blood runs cold. Aircraft, fighter-bomber approaching battle stations. Prepare to engage. Alarms start blaring throughout the submarine. Up in the sky, Lieutenant Jimmy Sellers is flying his bomber on patrol when he spots a dark outline sitting in the waves below. In this rayon, he knows there aren't any islands. That's definitely a submarine. He circles around, expecting the sub to dive immediately, but it doesn't. It just sits there on the surface. Sellers is confused, but he's not complaining. He radios in the position and starts broadcasting every detail about what he's seeing. Down below, Seehausen is faced with an impossible decision. Every instinct is screaming at him to dive and escape, but they're desperately low on diesel and their diving equipment needs repairs. If they miss this resupply, there's no guarantee they can make it back to a German port. They might run out of fuel halfway across the Atlantic. We stay surfaced, Seehausen orders. We need that supply ship. It's critical. It's a gamble. A massive one. But he's betting that the aircraft won't attack or that they can fight it off. The message from Sellers reaches the Buckley just 20 miles away. Abel grins when he hears it. The submarine is sailing in circles, probably waiting for something. Maybe another U-boat that they'd already sunk days earlier. Prepare for battle, Abel orders. Flank speed. Let's make this quick. Just 40 minutes later, the Buckley is closing in on its target, with Sellers in the sky acting as their guide. But there's a problem. It's dark. Proper dark. And even with radar, spotting a surfaced submarine in these conditions is nearly impossible. Abel's scanning the horizon with his binoculars but seeing nothing except black water. How are his gunners supposed to hit something they can't even see? Then he notices something. The moon is low on the western horizon, casting this long, beautiful reflection across the waves. It hits an 8 change heading. Put that submarine to our west. Brilliant. Right. If they can maneuver so the submarine crosses that moonlit path, it'll be lit up like a stage actor in a spotlight. On the U-66, the lookouts finally spot the ship in the distance. Vessel to the south. What type? Unknown. Too dark to tell. Should we try contacting them? Negative. If they're American, we're in no position to fight. Full alert. Radio silence. Passive sonar only. The two vessels keep getting closer. Abel's watching the sea intently, barely managing to spot the dark shape of the submarine in the waves. But he holds his fire. He's waiting for the perfect moment. On the U-66, they're watching this unknown ship getting closer and closer. Someone suggests launching identification flares. No response. And that's when everyone realizes this isn't friendly. Prepare stun torpedoes. Seehausen orders. Can we dive, sir? Our valves are sticky. It would take 15 minutes. Then forget it. Keep the men on the guns. It's a disaster, but they're determined to fight. Alarms blare through the submarine. Deep in the vessel, torpedoes are loaded and aimed. Fire. Back on the Buckley, Abel finally sees his prey enter the moon's reflection. The invisible ghost is now clear as day, perfectly silhouetted. Get the range, he orders. The helmsman turns hard to port, aiming straight for the enemy. But here's something nobody on the bridge realizes. Outside in the dark water, a German torpedo is sailing right past where the ship would veer in if they had UNT just changed course. Pure luck. Saves them. Open fire. Muzzle flashes light up the German submarine. Tracers fly toward the American ship. Without missing a beat, Abel gives the order. Return fire. 20mm, 40mm, and 3-inch guns open up simultaneously. It's an absolute storm of lead hammering the Germans. Rounds slam into the U-66's deck. Seehausen's position gets rocked by heavy fire, but the armor holds. Damage report. Keep firing! In the air, Sellers is radioing updates to the battle group. Buckley is engaged. Submarine returning fire. Bloody hell, I've never seen such concentration of fire. Buckley's absolutely shredding that conning tower. The German gunners are properly brave, holding their positions and fighting back with everything they've got. But in the dark and chaos, they're aiming way too high. Their rounds sail harmlessly over the American ship. One by one, they fall, and the guns go quiet. Abel sees the submarine about to leave the moon's reflection. Check fire. Don't waste ammunition when we can't see. Change heading. The pause gives the Germans a chance to breathe. Injured men retreat below deck and get replaced by fresh crew. Their anti-aircraft guns open up, shells streaking across the sky. But estimating range in complete darkness proves nearly impossible. The American guns resume with full force, the entire broadside of the destroyer unleashing everything on the submarine. The German gun crews continue to fight despite having zero protection. Bullets are crashing all around them, but they keep loading and firing. One of their rounds actually punches through the Buckley smokestack. But it's not enough. The American weapons are absolutely pummeling them. Seehausen desperately calls for evasive maneuvers, the sub turning left and right trying to dodge the brutal fire. But they're only making it worse, getting closer to the enemy. Turn to face them, Seehausen orders. Fire our last torpedo. This is it. Their final hope. The torpedo launches, carrying with it every German sailor's prayer. Abel watches the submarine maneuver, unsure what they're planning. He shadows every turn as his men continue scoring hit after hit. Then his sonar officer shouts, "Torpedo starboard bow! Full rudder right." The Buckley turns hard. The crew on deck, watching the ominous trail of bubbles coming straight at them. At these speeds, the turn feels like it takes forever, but they manage to dodge it. the torpedo sailing harmlessly past. On the U-66, it's devastating. Their last chance is gone. Defenseless, Seehausen makes the dreaded order. Abandon ship? Yes, sir. German sailors start rushing out of the hatches and diving into the sea, trying to escape the barrage. But in the darkness, Abel doesn't notice. His guns continue mercilessly shelling the submarine. The Buckley maneuvers to sail alongside the enemy, gunners bracketing it with endless fire. The sub's guns have gone completely quiet, but it's still moving. As far as Abel knows, it might still have torpedoes. He makes a decision that changes everything. Ram it. The helmsman yanks the wheel, turning the destroyer right toward the U-boat. On the submarine, the escaping crew is shocked to see 1,400 tons of warship barreling straight at them. Evasive maneuvers. Too late. The destroyer slams into the submarine and leans against it, the two vessels grinding together. German sailors emerge from the hatches, originally planning to abandon ship as ordered, but they're shocked to find the American destroyer literally sitting on top of their submarine. Without any orders or plan, over a dozen Germans pull out their personal weapons and start firing at the Buckley's crew. Abel immediately realizes the danger and issues an order that hasn't been heard in over a century. Stand by to repel boarders. Moments later, Germans start jumping onto the Buckley's deck. The Americans respond with their sidearms, opening fire on the climbing Germans. Over a dozen make it over the railing, and an absolute fistfight breaks out. Everything becomes a weapon. Spent shell casings, coffee mugs, anything within reach. Officers are throwing hot coffee in enemies' faces. It's complete chaos, a proper brawl in the middle of a naval battle. Abel does the only thing he can. Full reverse. The Buckley starts sliding backwards across the submarine's hull, making this infernal grinding noise. Germans clinging to the side are forced to choose between dropping back onto their sub or being taken prisoner aboard the enemy ship. Then someone brings grenades and starts lobbing them at the submarine. Oh my God. A massive explosion rises from the sea. Everything falls silent. The Buckley circled 4 hours afterward and picked up 36 survivors from the U-boat's 62-man crew. The Americans didn't lose a single person. Commander Abel was awarded the Navy Cross for his leadership. He survived the war and lived a long life. Captain Gerhard Seehausen was never found. He went down with his ship. He was just 26 years old. This story absolutely fascinates me because it shows how warfare can suddenly shift from modern to medieval in seconds. One moment you're fighting with radar, sonar, and torpedoes. The next you're literally throwing coffee cups and fighting with your fists like it's 1600 something. If this story blew your mind, like it did mine, smash that like button and let me know in the comments what other insane World War II naval battles you'd like to hear about. I read every comment, and I love your suggestions. And if you want more incredible war stories that sound too mental to be true but absolutely are, then subscribe because I've got loads more coming. History is full of these incredible moments that sound like fiction but actually happened. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most advanced technology in the world can't replace good old-fashioned chaos. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.